In this video, I will be discussing about my latest project, which is basically a weather API. It has been built using Java Spring Boot, and it involves a third party integration. So, this project has been inspired from the roadmap.sh projects, basically this one. Where is it? Weather API. Yeah, this project. So for the third party, I am making use of this visual crossing weather API. And apart from Java Spring Boot, I have also integrated the Redis as the cache, and also used the resilience 4J rate limiting to prevent the abuse of our APIs from any malicious user. Although I have studied about both of the Redis and the resilience 4J library before as well, but implementing this project and using these technologies on my own gave me a much more confidence, and now I believe that I will be able to dive deeper into these concepts and use these awesome technologies in my future projects. So this is the readme and this is the code. I will be giving you the entire demo, so please watch the video till end. So basically I have exposed two endpoints in my application. First one is get API weather location, where this is our path variable. Here you need to pass the location of which weather you want to see, and suppose I am passing Delhi here, so I will be getting response like this. Another option is to pass the start date as well as the end date as the query parameters alongside the location, which will allow us to see the weather of that particular location within that date range. So suppose I am passing Delhi as the path variable and range as the with start date as 1st October and end date as 3rd October. So I will be getting an example response like this. So the basic idea is, first of all, we will be hitting the endpoint and an actual request will be made to the third party API, and then we will be caching that response in our Redis cache. Now next time when the same response or request will be made, so instead of hitting that API once again, our response will be fetched from the Redis cache only, since it will be a cache hit. So I will be giving you a practical demonstration. Also, all the error handling cases have been kept in mind, like whenever an invalid location is passed or invalid date format is passed, invalid date range, invalid API key, invalid endpoint, all these kinds of scenarios have been kept in mind. So now I think we can start. Let me just give you a brief project overview. So this is the config folder which contains my configuration classes, in which I have defined the beans, which I will auto wire wherever they are required, particularly for the application config and the Redis config. So in my controller, I have written two endpoints. One is for the location to get the today's weather for this particular location, and one is for the location with a range to get the weather of this location in the particular given date range. So in the DTO package, I have defined an error DTO, which I will be making use to construct the error responses. In my entity package, I have defined two entities. One is day response and one is the weather response. So basically, the weather response contains a list of days. So like this, I have defined two entities. In exception, there is one custom exception by the name of application exception. and a global exception handler, which will be responsible for handling all the kinds of exception that might arise. And in the service, this is the main interface in which I have defined two methods, which will be returning weather response based on the location and as well as the start date and end date. And this is where our entire business logic resides. So code is also with you, and you can, if you wish, you can pause and give it a read. And this is our main class. And of course, coming from a quality engineering background, I understand and realize that testing holds a paramount importance in the entire SDLC life cycle. So I have written all the controller integration tests which made sense to me, and I will be showing you by running all of them and even failing some of these by changing the code. So yeah, let's get started. So the basic prerequisite is to run the application. First of all, I need to uh, make sure that the Redis server is up and running. In case that is not the case, so we will be getting this exception that Redis server is not running. So first of all, let me show you this only. As of now, Redis server is not up and running, and now I am going to start my application. Okay, so now let's try to hit the endpoint by making use of a valid location. Make sure Redis server is up and running, and then again make the request. Another one is invalid endpoint. In case we try to access such an endpoint which does not exist, something like this, so we will be getting this no static resource available, which is basically this one. Now first of all, what I will do is I will enable the Redis server and check it's up. Okay, now it's up. So now what we can do is, okay, so first of all, let me show you the invalid API key. So this is my API key, and I will be changing it once I upload this video. So for the time being, let me just remove 9 from it and then rerun the application. Now ideally we should be getting this error, which is invalid API key, for which let's use the Postman. Yes, make sure you have configured a valid API key. So it's working fine. So now let me define a valid API key, rerun the application. And now comes the most interesting part. So as of now, let me show you. As of now, there are no keys available in my Redis cache. So all the requests that we will make will be actually made to the third party API. But once we make that request and get back a response, then that result will be cached in the Redis cache. So let me show you that. So, okay, where are the logs? Yes, clear all. First of all, I'm gonna make request to get the weather of Delhi. So we got a successful response, and the time it took was around 1797 milliseconds. Now if I will check the keys, we have got this entry in the Redis cache. If I will once again make this request, observe the time taken. First of all, also let me show you the logs here. Here you can see this log, get today's weather endpoint called, which resides here. Service impl weather service impl. Yes. Get today's weather endpoint called, which basically means we have actually called this endpoint. Now I am clearing this console, and now I will again hit this endpoint. Now if you see, the time taken is 14 milliseconds, and in the logs as well we cannot see this log. So basically it means instead of hitting the actual endpoint, we have returned the response from our Redis cache. Now let me do it for a different location, something like Mumbai. Once again observe the time taken here and also the logs here. So time taken is 6 seconds, and as you can see, the actual endpoint was called. But now it will take drastically less time, just 7 milliseconds. That's the power of Redis cache. Okay, now what else? Yes, now let's discuss the another happy scenario, that is to get the weather from a particular range, start date and end date. So we can make use of this only. Yes, so once again keep this in mind that as of now these only are the two entries available inside the cache. Now I will be making this request. I got the okay, I got it very quickly. Why? Let me copy it and paste it here once, but no. Why I got it very quickly? Let me check once again. Okay, no. Let me make it here. HTTP localhost 8080. Yes. API weather. Yes. I need to add API slash weather here. Now I shall be seeing a result. Is this key present? Okay, let me change the key to Mumbai. Okay, I got it. So I have not added the range here. That's why we are getting this. So we need to add range here as well. Since in the controller we have defined, let me show you. Yes, in the controller we have defined the endpoint as location and we have not added range here. That's why this endpoint is only being triggered. That was the reason. Yes, let me add range here and now it will work fine. Yes. Okay, I did not change the API key here. Let me try it here once. Range. Why is it failing? I am not sure why it's failing. It was working absolutely fine. Hmm. Why is it failing? Let me try hitting another endpoint first of all. Okay, and if I add something like Noida here. Yes, API key is working absolutely fine. Else, why would we have got this response back? So, what's the issue there? Let's see. Start date is equal to 2024 01 and end date is equal to 0301, no, 2024 030103. Yes, ideally it should work. Where is the, yes, and if I make this request, yeah, now it's working. I'm not sure what was the issue at that time. Okay, let's try it with some different location, something like Chennai, and range with this. Yes, what's the issue here? If I add Chennai here and inspect it and then hit the endpoint, yes, working absolutely fine. Now this should be added in the cache as well. Yes, see, really not sure why is this not working properly in the Postman. My endpoint is correct now. Let me validate this as well. Yes, it's absolutely correct. Okay, we will see. Yes, now let's see for an invalid location. So we have got bad API request, invalid location parameter. What will happen if we try to send the request in which the dates are of invalid format or dates are of are in incorrect order? Let us see that as well. So first of all, let me minimize this and let me give dates in an invalid format, and date is equal to BCD. So we have got a valid response, pass a valid date in YYYMMDD format. If we will be missing these parameters, then also we will be getting an appropriate message that is required parameter and date is missing. What else was there? Yeah, another thing was, in case the start date and end date order is reversed, so start date is 1st of January, end date is 3rd of January, but we if we swap these values, then what will happen? Like this. Okay, I need to add range here first of all. End date cannot come before start date. This also has been validated. Now let me show you the functionality of uh, rate limiting. Yes, so for that what we need to do is we need to change these values to see the drastic result, and we need to rerun the application So as of now we have changed this for today's weather, that is in which we only are passing the locations as the location as the path variable. So what location can we use? Maybe USA. Is it up now? Okay, it's loading. Yes, we have got it. And now if I will repeatedly hit it, then I will be getting the rate limiter error. Yes, if just you saw, see, rate limiter, today's weather does not permit further calls, which was configured here and in the controller itself. So this is the rate limiter which is using these settings basically. What else is left here? Rate limit is exceeded, that we have done. Yes, now let's see the test cases. First of all, let me change it. And rerun the application. And now let's open the test cases. Yes. So first of all, let me show you the happy path. All of the test cases are passing. Now let's try to fail some of them on purpose. So they cannot have size 2 here, and something like, what else can we change? We can change, yes. So here 3 days are coming, but we are expecting it to have size of 4. What else? Yes, something we can change here as success. So here 3 test cases should fail now. Let's see. Yes, as expected, those 3 test cases got failed, for which we changed the code. And if I now change it to the original code, all of the test cases should pass. Let's wait for them to finish. Yes. So this was the entire demo. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you are someone who have watched till now, first of all, thanks for giving some of your valuable time to me. And I have just two requests to make in case some senior engineer is watching my video. So I would request that person to kindly even review my code once if you are having that kind of time. And I want to just ask one thing, that is, for error handling, what I do is I write the code for happy path, and then I intentionally break the chain by sending request with invalid parameters, and naturally the exception comes on the web page. So I just then copy the exception and keep adding those exceptions in my global exception handler, like this: no resource found, missing servlet request, and all such kind of exceptions. So I just want to ask, is this the right way of doing this, or are we having any better way of handling the exceptions? Shall we uh, try to handle all the exceptions inside the service layer only, like using the try catch within all the method bodies, or is it the correct way? And secondly, if you like this code, this demo, so you can consider giving it a star on my GitHub repository as well as the project. Both of the links I will attach in the demo. So yeah, that was all about it. And just keep learning, my fellow engineers. I will meet you in some next video.